Okay, so we've just finished filming episode 2 of Grim and Perilous, the Zweihander RPG companion series to the Main Ghost Kickstarter. The links provided. Probably something floating around on the screen for you to click on, maybe. Depends on what I do in post-editing. But yeah, we just finished another great episode. I think from my perspective, just to tell you guys first, it was really good. Unfortunately, Colin had to head home again. You really got into the characters. I think you're really inhabiting them well, really getting into the role playing. I thought it was a really good session, especially between Berthold and Jax. There's a sense of duty versus a sense of weariness. This kind of, I thought it was really good. I don't know what.
I mean, your stuff is. Bertold's stuff is good because he's getting involved in stuff. I think the rest of the characters would stay away from it, but you're there and getting us involved and making stuff happen, which is the involvement thing. So, which is interesting. And
everything's kind of culminating. There seems to be
it's all starting to kick off.
Yeah. And it's a good little adventure. There's lots of interesting bits for me to use to throw together, and I think it's providing a good little short campaign. I can see it being complete in the four episodes that we've got, hopefully, and it might get interesting at the end. It's pretty cool. So Roger, you're just looking up your character's alignment.
I am.
I really like the alignment system. Just before you discuss what your alignment is, I think it's cool having the two extremes of a theme. You know? So you've got duty and fatalism. So you're kind of, this has to be done, but you don't want to do it. Whereas duty is you want to, and it's for the right reason.
Yeah.
And I think
it fits perfectly with the backstory we've talked about, but we won't.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we can talk about that if you want to.
Well, if you don't mind, so
go ahead.
So the emails that Pete and I had is that Bertold he's a gamekeeper. But he's master of the hounds for a large estate.
For Steiger.
So Steiger, who owns this large estate. So he looks after all the hounds and whatever. The backstory we came up with, that something happened with the pack of hounds while on the hunt, which is why he's obligated to go on this journey. And all his life, Bertolt has been out with the dogs, doing everything else, which is why you referred to when the two dogs came out. He recognised they were Breton war dogs. He knows what they're capable of. So it sort of affected him when he saw them. But he's not out of money or whatever. He's got to do this.
He owes Steiger.
Because the idea is that someone was killed by the hounds during a hunt. He's lost everything. So he's not driven by gold. He's very much duty bound, what he thinks which is why it's sort of black and white.
Yeah.
And that's the way he sees the world, but that's been taken away from him. He's then thrown out
it's great.
into this adventure to try and deal with it. So, which has been good fun playing, which was excellent where we were doing that.
Nicely,
I really enjoyed that. Especially your character when he looked. Oh, God. You've probably done this countless times, and you've seen some idiot die because you've had to go. What he's trying to be a hero, but that was really good fun.
Some idiot.
Apart from one who was high,
I think you'll find I'm the sensible one.
Yeah.
There's a fight. No.
Yeah, we haven't had to use the fortune points yet because we haven't sort of got into any kind of risky situations. But I'm sure
you're learning the characters, aren't you?
Yeah. I think they'll come.
Yeah, definitely.
So you've checked yours out?
I have. It's a bit of a weird one. So mine is, for the viewers, mystery and exclusion, which means I'm an outsider and a bemused understanding of my ways and culture helps me sidestep all sorts of inconveniences. My social situation is unclear, and therefore the paths before you are many, an advantage afforded to very few.
So kind of the world is open to you, which is why you're probably an academic. you're out there looking into all the possible things because you're a gnome, not part of the local culture. So the kind of norms aren't strictures for you.
If you do something weird, people don't go, "What the fuck's he doing?" They go, "Oh, he's a gnome," whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
It's very hard to live up to that, though.
I don't know. I think you're doing all right.
I think you're doing really well.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I mean,
Yeah.
I interpreted it slightly differently, but I've been trying to play the gnome in a very odd way.
Yeah.
It's a random joke.
And
The guy
Diabolus
came out trying to be like, "Look, I'm not armed or anything."
Yeah.
But
Trying
that's
to
the
make
thing,
a joke.
because you're very important to Steiger to get to where we're going. So you're sort of driving the story along.
oh yeah, you're the key thing. We're all here because of you. Yeah.
I think
And
you're doing it really
I
well.
say that we should get the whatever it's called, dodgy stone, witch stone.
Yeah.
Because I definitely think my employer would be interested in having some. Maybe
And
Is
one
that
piece.
your real?
well.
Is that your real reason?
Oh god!
Yeah.
A bit will make it back to the employer,
A bit.
like one piece.
Sure. You don't know how much there is.
Assuming there's more than one piece, but the rest of it may get used.
So you're going to have a big question. Is it going to be the barge full of wine or the barge full of weird stone you're going to take
Or
on? To
Witch stone.
Or
mean,
you
witch
put the
stone-
witch stone with the wine
Sorry, my
and have
mistake.
a party.
Wind it up
Yeah.
into the wine.
Yeah. Powdered witch stone in the wine. Oh man,
Game on.
trippy shit going on.
Think how else you could get on that stuff.
What do you guys think of the adventure?
Yeah, it's really good.
The adventure is really cool.
Yeah.
I like how there's lots of, information being thrown at us.
There's almost too many threads, so we're very much going, well, there's this or this or this or this, and it's all going to come to some big kerfuffle at the end, isn't it? It's all going to kick off,
A big
and then
kerfuffle.
we'll see where it goes.
Sure.
It's a
See
wonderful
what we decide to.
But the good
Which
bit,
side we decide to.
I think,
Bits we decide to take on.
absolutely, and I think for me, that's the interesting part. So the good thing about it is it throws all these threads out,
Yeah.
which have very different connotations. And I mean, the adventure is really interesting because it actually encourages you to have, which they don't normally do, to split the party and have some of the characters interact with some of the threads, like we had with Bertolt going off on his own, which was purely by chance,
Yeah,
but
it's just
I took
By
advantage of that.
duty and yeah.
So, it's like, maybe tempt people with different parts of the story. It's interesting that
It's with
theory
we-
hasn't gone the illegal road, which he could do as a smuggler, and could be like, trader. He could be like, I'll set up connections with this guy. But he's thinking, no, actually, this threatens my trade down
That's
the river,
what I
which
really
is,
like.
really good. I
the
like that.
repercussions further down the road for him
Hmm.
are much more. Whereas Bertolt is, let's get this done, let's fix a boat. Why don't we defend this guy and then we'll
Sort of.
get off?
Yeah.
Whereas the repercussions that Derek's trying to deal with is saying, well, hold on a minute, this is how I live my life. I need to be able to get in and out.
Sure.
I need to keep my communication. So that's
Yeah.
quite cool.
And it's nice because you're all playing the character and you're not playing the adventure, as it were. Because you could go, okay, right, list them out, A, B, C, right, which is the most easiest route through, let's do that.
Nah.
You're actually going with your character and saying, how, and considering I randomly rolled all these characters for you guys, I think I rolled, the tradition is to roll 3 professions and pick one of them. So I rolled them and then gave you guys the option via our Facebook chat. But then I rolled everything else. So it was just kind of happenstance, which, and yeah, I think it's really good. I'm enjoying it. I need to read up on the rules a little bit more. Half of me is glad that you didn't get in a combat this time because I'm not sure I would have done it justice this time. I haven't
Well
had
done.
time to.
But
That was awesome.
I can't help but
It's
hear
such
the
a-
word this time.
great addition.
It's disappointing you don't do combat at some point since that.
Well, look, Bertha was going to shoot someone with his bow. at
Well,
some
it's a
point.
great addition to your character that you're quite threatening in the fact that if you put your hand on the hilt of the sword, people go, actually, I'm going to listen to this guy.
Yeah.
He looks as though he knows
Yeah.
what he's doing. So
Yeah.
I really like that.
And that's why I can play a much cockier character.
'Cause he has to.
Because
he has
normally
to
people will be
advance
like, piss off, gnome. But with like the muscle right next to me, they're like,
And I have to say, for ease, because the whole extended bit of Steiger and what you're doing isn't part of. Obviously, it's not part of the adventure. It's find a reason for the party to be travelling down the river and stopping in this place.
Okay.
And I thought, because you're the gnome, because you're the outsider, I should probably base it around you, because then the other characters will have a reason to maintain a relationship with you. Otherwise, Jax would be like, "It's a fucking gnome. I don't care."
Yeah. Well, I'll just be there for. I always like it in all adventures that the party have a reason to be together. If you leave it for the players to come up with a reason, sometimes it works, but sometimes actually the players go, "I've no reason to be with these."
Absolutely.
So I think it's one of the things that Jim should.
And normally, I would have a big conversation and like a session 0, and you have that chat. You generate characters together, and you try and figure out why you're all together. This time, it was kind of like, we've got 4 episodes to make. We've got a little bit of time to get ready, so I'm going to kind of not railroad, but this is the preamble
direct
to the to the adventure. But no, I really like what you guys are doing with your characters, and I mean, the adventure's interesting. It's there's lots of interleaving threads.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and obviously it's like about you guys trying to figure out who's in the wrong or who's in the right, but there's no right and wrong in the grim, perilous world. It's all shades of horrible, bloody.
You mean wonderful grey?
There is right and wrong for you.
Yes, yeah, for you.
It could be, but that's.
Well, no, technically, there's right and wrong for me. It's just what's right for me and what's wrong for me, not
that's
what's morally right and wrong.
That's what I like about your character. It's like, well, I'll do what's best for me in this situation. So you don't have to throw yourself into combat or magic or whatever. You're actually playing the character.
But he's been giving the illusion to people that he's got a nice side to him. Like when I forget the chap's name, the bouncer guy was getting grabby.
Diesel.
It was my character that stood up and went, "Hey, stop that!"
Yeah.
Again,
yeah,
not too far from him.
Yeah. Slightly just behind him.
And trying to recruit some help to impress our clearly noble friend here. And then as soon as a step out of range of people, Simon going, "What the hell are you doing that for? You're getting killed." And my response of, "Better him than us." And Simon's going to go, "Yeah, fair enough."
Well, that's what I liked about the awareness roll that we talked about. That when Bertolt drew the bow and realised. Did he realise it was Jax that was actually controlling the situation? Or did he get like a superhero idea that he was going to die? Oh, it's me, I've really made it. But he rolled the dice, he looked and realised, no, this guy can handle himself.
It's a double hard bastard standing next to me.
Yeah.
I like that.
So you guys are enjoying Zweihander?
Yeah, it's excellent. It's excellent.
I spent some time actually reading through the book, but I was just reading more of the characters, all the different character classes. That's just quite fun to read through. It's a nice selection, nice bit of description around them.
There is a lot of there is a lot of
plenty to read
of fluff.
To be honest, I'd be interested to, if obviously there was demand for it, to play a longer campaign at some point.
Yeah,
I mean that would be good. So see that.
I think you guys are really getting into the characters, and that, for me as the GM, is just gold dust.
Well, you kind of have to. I mean,
that's the
of
point.
Course.
Yeah,
that's kind of the
whole.
Yeah.
I mean,
what is the Blood War? That's the thing. I look at this. I couldn't find any reference to Blood War. Is that a separate thing?
Blood War is a big conflict between the two nations either side of the river. It's just a big enduring war. As far as I can tell, I still need to read more. But it's just like this huge conflict that happened between the two sides, and it sort of wound down to an uneasy peace a few years ago, and it's just been sort of on hold. And trade has started to open up again, but it was kind of like a big war in the past. It's not like the hordes of chaos invaded all the land, as far as I can tell. It's just kind of like big dirty war. Yeah.
That's part of the fun, that it's flexible, so your character can sort of. How much part did Jax play in the book?
Absolutely, and we're not beholden to we're using this adventure. But really, it's kind of a bit of a sandbox. So if you want to sort of embellish on that, I'm happy to. Sure. I mean, there's
something to do with this particular encounter, because they give a number of histories in here.
Yes.
I was reading through them, and none of them seemed to particularly fit Blood War, but maybe because I was skimming through.
In the games mastery section, I think I touched on it last after show session. there are like potential settings that you can use, and there's the 30 Years War. There's the Lost Colony of Roanoke, which is interesting as well. You know, real world settings that are grim and perilous.
Okay.
But then you've got Goth Moran Divided, which is the Blood War.
Oh, that's
And
what we're talking
Goth Moran is the continent, this main area of land, and then you've got Gangs of Cahabro, which is the city down the river that you guys are heading towards, which is like big cosmopolitan, dirty, filthy city with lots of debauchery and criminal activity going on. They're just the kind of 4 examples that they give, and it's just a short summary. What I do like in them, and I'm just going to turn to the page so I don't get this wrong. It's a good contents page and a good index, but still, I can't read it on the loo, so I'm not getting much reading in. Anyway, each campaign seed has...
not learning in my books anymore.
There's an alarming insight.
Each campaign seed has got a format, and it has 4 things. And it's a little nod to the old Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay adventures. You have the enemy within, the enemy without, the enemy beyond, and then adventure ideas. So obviously the enemy within was the old Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay big campaign.
That was a classic.
I do like the little nods, and obviously this whole thing is an ode to Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, really, with some more.
Well, it's a nice description. It's just talking about the environment, the enemy without. So who the external threats, the enemy within, what are the political or internal tensions for the place? So it's nice descriptors to get some sort of idea of the environment.
I also like the open-ended thing, though, that it's not particularly tied to a setting.
Well,
like the examples it gives, some of them are historical. So if you wanted to roleplay in a historical environment, you can.
Well,
just 30 Years War, for example.
And some of the guys on Facebook are talking about their. Yeah, you could do. You could do.
There are black powder weapons on there.
Any point in history. I imagine it will be. People will be writing particular, scenarios. So setting English Civil War or whatever, and writing.
That would be interesting.
What's going on, and then doing so that's what sort of you can do.
I'm tempted to write up a setting pamphlet for my 5 cities world for Zweihander, which has got a.
I suppose the corruption side from the main Ghost book would work really well for that.
The D&D adventure I did, I put the races back in, all the D&D races, but the original 5 city setting is just humans. And they are in this world, and there's like a war brewing between 2 nations, and then there's the golems beyond who are used to enslave humanity hundreds of years ago, and it's supposed to be a bit more gritty than your typical fantasy.
How would all of the corruption fit into that sort of more chaos influence that's in this?
So in that,
in the golem stuff, I mean, all the crystals and things.
There's these crystals, shards, and things, and then there's the corrupting nature of the risen and the fallen. So the risen are the corrupted dead, and the fallen are the corrupted living.
So would players kind of almost be surrendering powers to the golems in order to gain the power for themselves?
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Because there are golem worshippers in the setting, and they.
Of course, we killed a lot of them.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about. I've got a load of text and stuff, and I can kind of put together a setting primer, as it were, to like describe it and put that up on Drive Through RPG for
also
pay what
very
you want.
Interesting to see how
the Western
Woothrup characters. Fit
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Very tempting. But we're doing 4th edition Woothrup for season 2.
I know. It's just the curiosity of how Bagric would look in Zweihander.
Oh yeah. And you are supposed to say Zweihander, not Zweihander, because it's a play on Warhammer, which was like a kind of not a parody, but a play on medieval Europe. It's again another play on that, and the words are supposed to be not quite.
So Zweihander.
It's supposed to be Zweihander, apparently, according to Daniel, but I'd like to say Zweihander. Zweihander.
Well, Zweihander is how I would say the word.
Yeah.
Zweihander.
Yeah.
But it's his game. He wrote it.
Absolutely.
We'll with him,
Absolutely. No, and they've been really great supporting the channel with the show, with the adventure,
stuff has been
materials.
Really
it's really good.
And this has been really good fun.
It's been really good fun.
Really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really like the materials.
Cool.
So
Okay.
it is going to be really interesting to see how combat plays out.
Anything else we wanted to talk about? Because otherwise, I think
No, I think that's
been another good after show chat just about the characters a bit more this time. Please don't forget to check out Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Go check out our Patreon. I'm just going to give you a little preview here. We have put up recently, let's see if you can see that clearly, the Conjurer's Lair, the latest map adventure. We're going to be doing a PDF adventure for that for D&D. That's available for free on the Patreon right now. There's a link somewhere above, below, somewhere around.
somewhere. Maybe,
Probably below, who knows.
maybe that way.
But please go check that out. Please consider supporting the channel. Every Patreon we have helps us make this better for everyone else. We have just ordered proper microphone equipment from the funds that our patrons are giving us. So they're already making this a better experience, and hopefully I'll get to figure that out over the weekend. And that means our next episode might have better sound. I don't know. Fingers crossed.
Might have sound and combat.
Might have combat. Yeah, absolutely.
Hide.
Cool. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, check out Grim and Perilous. If you haven't seen the episode, there's a link. Otherwise, we'll see you next time on Grim and Perilous for episode 3 of our Zweihander show. Bye-bye.
Bye.